Welcome to another breakout session. This is breakout session number 30. This is Rhythm 101. Call it I Got Rhythm. Who could ask for anything more? First, I want to say hello, Guitar League. I want to say hi to everybody out there in the Guitar League around the country that might be watching today. And I'm hoping that you guys, if you haven't already, if you'll subscribe to my channel and hit the little bell, and we'll notify you when there's a new breakout session or whatever I put up. And if you like it, please hit the like comments. I'm trying to expand my channel a little bit, so I sure appreciate all the subscriptions I can get. And if you have any positive comments, go ahead and put them down there too, or any questions. So today we're going to be talking about basic rhythm. We're going to start off probably in the beginner's range, but you intermediate guys or maybe even pros, hang out. There could be some tips here at the end that might interest you. So first we're going to just talk about timing of strumming, the up and down strumming patterns. You'll see, like if you look at a tab, a lot of times you'll see U's and you'll see V's. You know, the V's are kind of the down strokes and the U's are the up strokes. But the basic stroke count would be like on quarter notes, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. On eighth notes, it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then on 16th notes, it would be 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E. Okay, so that's the basic count. But what we're going to talk about today is more getting it in your ear than counting it. In my opinion, a couple of the best rhythm players out there, and we can argue about this, I think Neil Young is an incredible rhythm player. If you watch any of Neil's stuff, his hand is like a metronome. It never stops throughout the entire song. And he can change tempos, he can do all kinds of stuff, but you'll never really see it because his hand is just, seems like it's the same the whole way. And the other guy would be Keith Richards, who's a heck of a rhythm player. Of course, it didn't hurt to have Charlie Watts in the band. So if you'll notice, Keith is always hanging out over by, well, he was when Charlie was alive, God rest his soul. He would always hang out over there by the drummer, and he'd watch Charlie, and he'd stay in time with Charlie. Okay, that's very important, to listen to music and pay attention to the drummer and the bass player. That's where the rhythm's coming from. The drummer obviously is in control of the tempo, or he's supposed to be, and you're supposed to be playing rhythm with him. So today I want you to listen to music, listen to the drummer, and internalize that, and then be able to verbalize it. Even you could sing along with the beat, you know, but get your hand going with the beat and tap your foot. That's another good tip to rhythm playing. So we're going to start with basic rhythm patterns, like we're going to start with a boom chuck and talk about how that works, and then we're going to work our way up to some more advanced stuff. But we're going to try to move along as fast as we can. So a boom chuck, which is, you know, you see that a lot in bluegrass and country and some folk music. That's basically when you're playing the bass note and then you're strumming the chord. And what we're going to talk about today is alternate bass notes and strumming the chord. So, and what you do, the alternate bass is the root note and strum a chord, and the fifth note in that chord scale, whatever it is, and strum the chord. So like in C, for instance, you would hit the C note, and strum the chord. Then you'd come up and hit the G note and strum the chord, because the G is the fifth of C. And so you got a boom chuck or boom chukka, which is more like what I do really is boom chukka, boom chukka. And I like to cheat when you could play the C like that and start with the C bass note and then put your finger up on the G and strum, but it's easier if you play a big C chord with a G over C, then you can just hit the C note, strum, and then G note and strum and never have to move around a whole lot. Okay, and the same with F. You could play the F with the C in the bass because the C is the fifth of F, and that's what we're gonna hit. And then with the G, you're gonna play the G bass strum and a D bass strum. And it works that way obviously with any chord. You're gonna play the chord, you're gonna play the bass note of the chord, the 1, and then you're gonna play the 5th note in that chord scale and then strum. So that's a basic boom chukka. Okay, that's pretty simple. You need to practice that. We're not going to spend a lot of time on these. I'm just going to give you an overview on some strumming patterns. The next one we're going to do is a shuffle beat, and we're going to get a different guitar for that. So hang on just a second while we change it up. We're back to the magic of television. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit just about a basic shuffle now. And I want to point out that rhythm is in both of your hands, okay? Your strumming pattern's over here in this hand, but your release of the chord, your pressing and releasing of the chord has a lot to do with the timing. It's the sustain or not. You can shut it off. Just shuts it right off. So you have rhythm in both hands and you have to use them. Okay, so the basic shuffle pattern is you're going to be playing, you know, in 4/4 time, and you're going to be playing the 1 note, the 5 note, and the 6 note. So to like a 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got the 1 note, we're playing an E, and then we're playing a B, and then we're playing a C sharp is the 6th of that scale. To that shuffle feel. And then you can add the flat 7 to it to give it a really cool shuffle feel. And you notice that's two things. It's upstrokes and it's squeezing and releasing of the chord. So, you know, a lot of shuffles are played using bar chords like that, okay? With my little hands, I got to get way down the neck to play it like that. So obviously I try to play it like with power chords whenever I can. And that's why Keith Richards actually, you know, tunes his guitar to G and takes the 5th string off so he can play those patterns all over the place without playing the big bar chords. That's another story. Actually, I did a video on that a long time ago. So that's the basic shuffle beat, is the 1, the 5, the 6, the flat 7, and back. With a shuffle feel to it. So you can do that with any chord. You're going to play the root, the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th with any chord. And we're obviously playing the root while we're playing all of them. In this case, it's an open E string, but that's ringing out as a drone note the whole time. In the same way, when you go to A, you're playing the A note and the 5th at the same time. So, it's a feel thing. So you got to listen to music that has shuffles in it, and then internalize that, and then verbalize it yourself and get into that groove. The next thing I want to talk about a little bit is a cha-cha beat, which I don't think you hear much, but you do actually. And kind of that beat is going to be based off of 1, 3, 5 in any key. So the way I get into a cha-cha beat is, let's say we're going to do something in A. 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 3, 5. 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 3, 5. 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 3, 5. 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 3, 5. 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 3, 5. 1, 3, 5. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about reggae now. So now we're getting a little more advanced. So normally when you are strumming, the upbeat, the one and, two and, is normally an upstroke, the and. But in reggae, the and is a downstroke. So the way I get into a reggae groove is I think 1. Something like that, a little reggae. So I go 1. That was a little tip that I picked up along the way. I couldn't figure that rhythm out, but if you go 1 and then start your downstrokes from there, you know, you'll get into the right groove, reggae. Waltz, 3/4 time, okay, is that you count out a little bit, okay? 3/4 time and 6/8 time is very similar, but it's not exactly the same. As a piano player can tell you, there's different notations that they're working with when they're doing a 6/8 time rather than 3/4 time. But we'll just talk about the 3/4 time, which is kind of known as waltz time. So I think if you just go like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Can throw you off when you're at a jam and somebody goes, this is in 3/4 time. Okay? So just go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But again, you don't need to be counting that out in your head. You need to feel that count. You can start counting it off and get going, and then it should be internalized, and you should be able to keep going with it. And you should, if you listen to enough music, you need to anticipate the chord change coming up so you're ready for it. The next little one we're going to do is kind of a funk thing. And this is what I was talking about, where rhythm is in both hands. So, you know, the typical E9 chord funk groove, where you might slide into it. What makes this is, you notice it's my left hand coming on and off. I mean, I'm got some rhythm going over here. And by the way, you want to have your hand as loose, your arm as loose as humanly possible. When you're playing rhythm, you want it to just flow real nice and not be stiff. You can't do that. So it's got to be really, really nice and loose. But a lot of this rhythm, see, if I just held this, there's no groove to that. So it's, the groove is in the left hand. Most of this groove is happening in the left hand. So that's something you got to practice. You got to hear that. Okay, so just to summarize, as I mentioned, you need to listen to music, you need to listen to the drums, hear the chord changes, internalize that and be able to verbalize it, bring it back out yourself. Listen to the dynamics, how hard somebody's playing, how soft they're playing, that's very important too. And when I say play along with music, one of the easiest ways to do it, there's an app for that. It's called Jam Zone. Okay, it works on either Androids or iPads, Apple devices. And I'm probably going to do a little tutorial on it, but you are able to play along with songs on here. You can isolate different parts, like you could isolate the drums, the rhythm guitar player, the bass player. You can change keys, you can do all kinds of neat stuff, but you can train your ear. You'll see the chord changes so you can practice, you know, getting ready for the chord change and hearing the change. So I highly recommend Jam Zone, and I'm going to do a little tutorial in the very near future on Jam Zone. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I sure appreciate it. And I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.